Have you ever been coding in Xcode and then stumbled upon these question marks and exclamation marks and just thought for yourself, what are those? Those are called optionals, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys about how we can work with optionals, unwrap optionals, handle them with guard functions and much more. So let's get started. I will start off by opening up Xcode and going to my YouTube videos project. This is just an empty project with nothing real in it. So in here I will quickly just add a label and make the width a little bigger here and the size also. I will then control click and drag it into the view controller and call it label, just like that. So now I will create a variable called optional value, and this will be defined as an integer, and I will put a question mark behind it, which means that this is now an optional integer. That means that it has no value yet. It can be 4, it can be 20, it can be 35, whatever, but we don't know yet because we haven't defined that. All we know about this variable is that it is nil at its current state. So if I say label.text equals, let's see, optional value, and compile and run this, we will see that the text says nil. It doesn't know any value for this integer. So if we then say up here optional value is equal to 12, we have now defined a value for the integer, and if I compile and run again, we will see that this is now an optional, which is 12, declared as 12. When we work with optionals, it is important to know how to create a function with a guard in it. So if I create a function called the optional function, and in here we will have a number, which is an optional integer, and I will then say that guard and then the number, if it's not equal to nil, then I will say label.text equals, we have no value. So this will handle all the errors, and if our value is not defined. And down here I will say label, I will actually just copy this code here, delete it, put it down here, and then in here I will call the optional function, and in here I will say optional value. So if I compile and run now, this guard should take care of us if this value is nil or if it's not nil. So in this case it's not nil, so we will see optional 12. But if we were to delete this code here and compile and run again, the guard will catch all the errors and say this value is, we have no value. So by making use of this guard function here, we will not get any major crashes, but we will have major crashes if we make use of force unwrapping. I will now show you a scenario where Xcode will recommend us to use force unwrapping. So I will change the scenario just a little bit here. I will call this optional string and make it a string value, and then say optional string is equal to Bob, just like that. And down here I will say label.text is equal to the optional string plus is cool. So in this case we will get an error right here, and what this error says that it will recommend us to add an exclamation mark to the value optional string just to unwrap it. So we can of course in this case just press fix, because we know that our optional value is actually equal to Bob. So in this case we can tell Xcode, yes, I'm 100% sure that this optional value is defined, because we can see it right here. So if I compile and run this, we will see that we get no errors, and this works perfectly. But we should always be super careful when using force unwrap, because there will be many scenarios where you have more code and more view controllers, and the recommendation from Xcode will just be to add an exclamation mark here and there, but we have to be 100% sure that we know what value we are force unwrapping. I would definitely recommend you guys making use of guards in your functions and making use of if-else statements to take care of the optionals, just to make sure that you won't get any unnecessary crashes. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you got the basic understanding of how optionals work, and yeah, if you liked the video, hit the like button below, and if you have any questions, then just write a comment. And for more videos in the future, then hit the sub button also. So I guess I will just see you in the future.